Hello everyone, good afternoon. Hope everyone is safe and doing well. Yeah. Once again, welcome to our sessions on the online sessions. Um, we will start our sessions on the product design from today onwards. We already completed the two modules, first and second modules in the classroom. Today I am going to start the module 3. We have left with one more module. There are totally 4 modules. This module is the third module. Uh, we will spend some 3 lecture hours. Probably I need some 3 lecture hours for the module 3, and then we will spend another 3 lecture hours for the module 4. With that, probably hopefully we will complete our syllabus for the product design. But there is a small caution for all of you. In the product design, we have taken the project for the assignment. Probably all the teams, they are working on their assignment. I know the difficulty. You are not really meeting with each other in physically, but still, whatever the projects you have selected, hopefully you are able to continue that. Able to continue that. That carries the 20 marks, 20 marks for the project, and the remaining 20 marks from the our internal test. Okay, let's start our session today. Yeah, this is module 3, that's on the concept generations and the concept evaluation. Today's session we will concentrate on the concept generation. The contents of the today's lecture are shown here. Let me start with a small introduction about the concept. What do we mean by concept? Then we will try to understand what is the concept generation process. It's not the very new, but only thing is now we are trying to understand the scientific way of generating the concepts. We all know that the first step is understanding the customer needs. That's where our module in module 2 we discuss the various methods to capture the customer needs, voice of customer. We also have seen the different methods to conduct the voice of customer. So once you know the customer needs, requirements and the specifications, the next step is the starting the concepts, generating the concepts. So we will see what is the general process and what are the different methods used for the concept generation for the general applications. Then we will spend some more time for the complex systems like our aircraft. When you are designing something with the aircraft or the aircraft engines or aircraft systems, you need to spend very systematic way in generating the concepts. So we will try to understand in what way that is different from the other products. Then we will try to understand something from the system engineering approach, and in the system engineering approach, various steps in design, new product development. I will spend a very short time on that. Then we will have a discussion on the functional design and the analysis. Apart from that, we will try to understand the new methodologies or new philosophies which are coming in the design, which are very famously implemented in the today's innovative designs. One is the TRIZ, and the other one is the axiomatic design. So this is the overall contents what we are going to cover in the concept generation. In the next session, we will see about the concept evaluation. Once you generate the different concepts, how do you select the right choice? How do you select the better ones out of the generated concepts? That we will discuss in the next session. Let's go through the first one, that's the concept generation. What do you mean by concept? Concept is nothing but the very rough idea about the solution what you are looking for the customer needs. It could be a small sketch, it could be a otherwise it could be a kind of the non-detailed three-dimensional model or detailed dimensional model. You all know that you all are working on the three-dimensional models. So you know drawing is the language for the engineers. So if you want to convey something about your idea, we always try to put that in a kind of the figure or picture, small picture, and try to communicate that. So any concept generally start with a simple sketch or the model, three-dimensional or two-dimensional model. Concepts may be many things, many for some problem there could be hundreds of solutions, or maybe something you are coming with the new solution. So concepts can be good or bad. There is nothing like a good concept or bad concept. But thing is, there will be constraints. Always there will be constraints. So concept which is really giving the better solution and restricted to the constraints, that we call kind of the good concept. Okay, but many times even though concept is good, but if you are failed in the implementation, obviously you will get failed. So there is a small probability for a good concept to fail, but there is a large probability for a poor concept to success. Okay, many times people we will spend the very little time for the concept generation, and they will work more time on the complex concept implementation, but that is not the right appropriate way. Finding the better solution while making the concept generation, that's very very important. Spending considerable time in generating the ideas is very very important. We all know that once you understand the problem rightly, that means it's a kind of 50% of the problem is solved. So understanding the customer need and making the concept, initial concepts, is very very important. Okay, all these concept generation will start with the customer needs or the specifications or requirement. We all know that the difference between the need, requirement, and specification. Need is a kind of the customer wants. Requirement is something what you promise to supply, and specification gives the complete details. It could be geometry details or it could be functional details. So there is a difference between the need, requirement, and specification. That's all we have seen in the last module. Okay, once you know the customer needs or customer requirements, the next step is the concept generation. Yeah, as I mentioned, the concept can be a rough sketch or detailed sketch or maybe a small handwritten model. Here I am just showing a handwritten, hand-drawn concept. So someone has made the a concept for the aircraft. Here, even though it is the rough sketch, but thing is here, this sketch shows the different parts which are required for the completing the different functions. So it is a kind of the really useful concept. You can see the different parts of the uh, aircraft, and to achieve the different functions there are the different parts here. We all know that all these things. Here it is shown as a propeller. We all know that the thrust is generated by the propeller, and this is a spinner, and this is the radial engine. It's a, as the name says, it's kind of the IC engine, radial engine, and this is the cowling, exhaust. So all these things are mentioned in this concept. So even though it's not the really three-dimensional, or we are not really seeing the dimensions, but it gives you the complete picture of the idea. So this is the simple concept. Yeah, here, okay, okay, where does the concept generation comes in the life cycle? This is the product development cycle. In the product development cycle, the first step is the identifying the customer needs, and the next step is the I, converting these needs into the requirements and the specification. So once you are clear about the needs and specifications, you are starting with your ideas. Concept is nothing but ideas. So this is the step where we are now. Okay. So there will be different activities. We all know that nothing is new here. But the first activity is always before concept generation. You should know about the customer needs very clearly. Once you are aware of the customer needs, then only you are successful in developing the product. If you are not really clear about the products, it doesn't make sense for making the design. So the first step is the first activity in the concept generation is the identifying or the understanding the customer needs. Identifying probably you could have done in the previous step, but understanding the customer needs is very important step. Once you understand the customer needs, the next step is you need to look for the solutions. Whether you have already existing solution for that need or not. If the existing solution is available, then you can directly use that and try to understand whether that solution is suitable for this need. If that solution is not available, then you need to look for the new concepts or new ideas. And the final step is once you come up with the new concept, you need to uh, develop the some product or the before product development. Probably you can generate the um, different methods, different methods used to facilitate the concept generation process. Okay, let me go through this. Probably people will think that whether this much is a structured approach is required for the concepts. Even for the simple systems, probably people will not spend much time in generating the new ideas, new concepts. But thing is, especially when you are working with the complex systems, you need to spend very big time for understanding the customer needs and developing the different concepts. Many times, a product development fails, a team of the product development fails. There could be number of reasons, and some of the reasons I just have shown here. One reason probably, when you are generating the concepts or generating the solutions for the customer needs, people will not really think many alternatives. They will come up with some existing solution and they feel that that's good enough. They will not spend much time. They will spend more time in implementing that solution. But that's a if you are in very hurry in you know implementing that, that's fine, but many times that's not. You need to spend some time for the alternatives. For any problem, even if you have the solution, the primary thing is you need to ask yourself whether, okay, this solution is acceptable for this need. But thing is, you need to spend time in understanding the alternatives, looking for the alternatives. You need to ask, is this the unique way? Is this the unique solution for this problem? That's very important. In During that process, you need to look for the many alternatives, not with only one or two alternatives. You need to look for the many alternatives and see suitability of that alternative solution for the existing problem. Next one is, many times you are coming with the problem or need and you are looking for a solution. But thing is, we always look for the solution from the that product point of view. But thing is, You need to take the problem and look for the solution in other applications also. Many times we fail here. We will look for the solution for this problem and for this product. But solution might be people are using the solution. People could have find some solution, better solution for that problem, but they might be using for the different other products. So you need to spend more time in understand. You need to clear about your problem, and you need to look for the solution. While looking the solution, don't limit that solution only for the your product. You need to look for the solution which have been applied for the other products. Now that is becoming the very important now, and we will have a discussion in the down the line. There is something called TRIZ. TRIZ methodology is based on this. There we will understand problems are common and solutions are also common. So if you know the problem, you need to make it your problem as the general problem and the look solutions from the general applications. And many of the times that could be available, and you need to just try to understand that solution and try to use that solution to your problem. So that's the second important point we need to see. Sometimes there are many failures because of the ineffective integration. Integration means summing up all the your product might have the different parts, and each part will satisfy some function. So it gives each part will give you the partial solution. But you need to assemble all those things, and you need to finally integrate all the solutions and look for the entire need or entire problem. So ineffective integration and ineffective communication between the components is very important, and many times team fails because of this. If it is not proper ineffective communication and ineffective integration, then many failures will happen in the new product. And probably we will spend some time more in the module 5, where we will understand the product architecture and prototype making. There we will understand what is the integration, what are the different philosophies available for integrating the solutions. Yeah. And fourth important point is failure to consider the entire categories of solutions. Many times we look for the solution for the entire problem, but thing is we will understand the methodology a little later, but thing is what we need to do is you need to divide the problem into sub-problem, and you need to look the solution for the sub-problems, and when you integrate all the solutions, then you will get the solution for the entire problem. That's the way we need to look for. And we will understand various methods available for understanding this. Yeah, someone has come up with the 5-step concept generation method, which is really useful, and which really covers all the important concept. I will show what are these 5 steps. Step 1, clearly understand or clarify the problem. It's very important, as we discussed. If you understand the problem, that means 50% of the solution you achieved. But many times people will try to start the solution without understanding the problem. So then in that case, even though you come up with some solution, it will definitely will not useful for the customer. So first step is understanding the problem or clarify the problem. Then you need to look for the solution. During the solutions, you need to look for both externally and internally. You need to look the solutions from the literature. We will understand what the different external sources we need to see. And at the same time, we need to look for the internal. Many times in the product development, whenever we are developing the concepts, we always look for the internal solutions. We don't spend much time on the external solutions. We don't really spend much time in external solution. That's we are missing that. People understood that the importance of that, and now we kept that as the very, very important step in the product development, especially in the new product development, NPD. We need to look for the solutions both externally and internally. Then once we get these solutions, then we need to explore the solutions in systematic way. That is the fourth step. And fifth step is the reflect the solutions and the process. Reflect on the solutions and the process. Here, I'm just showing the what are the 5 steps. The 5 steps for concept generation. These are the processes. You can say this is to clarify the problem. What I mean clarification is understanding the problem and dividing this major problem into the sub problems. Problem decomposition. We call that as a problem decomposition. So divide the problem into the small problems and then look the solution for the small problems, and the solution to all these small problems will lead to your solution for the overall problem. Once you decompose, sometimes very immediate solutions are available for some of the sub problems, and for some problems you may not have the solution at all at that moment. So you need to identify the critical sub problems. So once you identify the critical sub problems, you need to spend more time in looking the solution for subcritical problems, those critical problems. Once you are finding some solution, so ultimately you will end up the solution for the entire problem. So the first part is to clarify the problem. Then next part is the search externally. How do we see and all? External search. External means, as the name says, you are looking the solutions outside your industry or outside your product, or maybe organization, your organization or your country. So something is outside of your locality. There are different ways. We will discuss more in the consecutive slides. And other thing is internal, search internally. You might be having the subject matter experts, or you might be having the different domain heads. So you need to work with you may have your own team members. You need to do a kind of the brainstorming, which we will discuss in the next slides. There are different methods to search the solutions internally. So these are the internal solution and this is the external solution. You need to come up all those things, and finally you sit and explore very systematically. Okay, there are some tools which are commonly used tools for the systematic exploration. One is the classification tree and the other one is the combination tree. We will understand this little later. And the final step is the reflect on the solutions and the process. That means reflections. You want to get the reflections on the proposed solutions. When you are presenting the solutions to your team or your management or your customers, they may give some feedback about solutions. Take that very constructively. And many times, people do not have the tendency to accept the feedback, but it's very, very important. It's required. It's all development of your product actually. Okay, so that's a very important step. Last step is the getting the feedback and modifying your concepts. And that too, when you are working with the very complex systems, maybe you are working with a small component. Probably you have come up with some solution, some innovative solution for that component. But the solution what you are proposing may harm the other part. So you need to look for their point of view. So that feedback will be obtained during this part of the concept generation step. Okay. Yeah, clarifying the problem, anyhow, we discussed much, but only thing is, while once you understand the problem, then better you decompose the problem. Take the main problem and look for the decompose the problem actually. How do we make it sub problems? Once you arrive with the sub problems, then you will have the solution for the entire problem. And this also we discuss, focus on the critical problems. Yeah, dividing a problem into simpler sub problems is called as the problem decomposition. Okay, and each problem, sub problem, maybe one level may not be sufficient. Sometimes you need to take the sub problems again, divide that into the smaller problems, still smaller problems, sub problems, or component level. Okay, and probably you need to come up with some draft, and then present that, get the feedback, and again modify. So this is the kind of the continuous process actually. Okay. Yeah, here I just have shown the pictorially what is the decomposition. This is the kind of the big problem. When you look for the big problem and want to start the solution for the big problem, you feel that it's very very tough to get it. So what we need to do is divide that into the sub problems. Okay, part one of the problem, part two of the problem. But in a very simple system, suppose you are working on the aircraft. You are working something with the design of the some aircraft. If you really see the, if you take the aircraft design as such, maybe you may have the very very difficulty to understand that. What you need to do, you need to look for the, you need to divide the problem into different parts. Okay, aircraft. In case of the aircraft, what are the different systems? So each system, write the each system, and for the each system, what are the problems? And again, probably each system may be subdivided into subsystems and assign the problem for the subsystems. If that is not sufficient, go further low, further subdivision, then probably you will end up with the components. So this is how we need to look for. Always look the solution for the small problems that will lead you for the big problem. Externally, as I mentioned, there are many ways before finalizing the concept. You need to look for the external search the solution for the problem. Even for your a project, whatever the project you have taken, someone has taken the something about the foldable helmet. Someone has come up with the new lamp, lighting lamp. Okay, there are different projects you have taken. Even for that, probably you could have searched whether any solution is available for that problem. That searching, you need to look for the various resources. One could be open literature, one could be internet searching. We all know that Google we use for the a lot of search. Now search engines are helping a lot, but before this era of the internet, people used to spend a lot of time in going to the libraries and going through the different volumes, um, probably journals, conference proceedings, and they need to spend a lot of time in going physically going through all those things and finding whether something is interesting in that. But here nowadays, it's very very quick. You can do many of the things through internet. So what I'm trying to convey here is that's very very important. Whenever there is a problem and when you are looking for the solution, you need to look the solutions. You need to search for the solutions, not only from your own team. You need to look for the external search. Yeah, these are the some of the important methods. Uh, One could be lead user interviews. Lead users, someone has already anticipated the requirement, and he is expecting some product out of that. So probably once you go to him and ask him, okay, you have this problem, and you want to know the solutions, any probable solutions. Probably he may give you some hints, or he may say something more about the solutions what he is looking for. So that's the one important thing is the lead user interviews. Second one could be expert consultation. You all know that for many of the people after working sufficient time, they will become a consultant expert. Once he becomes the expert in particular field, probably they may start their own consultancy. So for each domain, there might be some consultant people, expert people. Probably you need to speak with them, get their views, get their suggestions. So that's the another way. Third is the patent search. This is very very important. You know that probably solution for particular problem might be available in a patent, but you all know that you can't really take the patent and implement that. Whatever the methodology, whatever the process they patented, you are not supposed to use that. So patent search is very important and helpful in two ways. One way is looking the solution, but you should not copy the same solution. You should not say copy the same solution for the same application. You can't. You can't. If you are doing that one again, it is against to the ethics, and thing is, they may sue you. So you can't do that one. Whatever the information available in the patent, you can't really directly copy that and use in your search. So that means it indirectly useful in finding out which way you should not use. Okay, that's the uses of the patent search. Apart from that, other things like literature search, I have mentioned you. There may be journal papers or conference papers or maybe some workshops in that particular topic. Okay, there nowadays even forums, many forums are available. Um, Probably you need to look for those forums. And the other way is the competitive benchmarking. What it is, I will spend some more time in the next slides actually. So you need to benchmark actually. So these are the some of the external sources. Yeah. Anyhow, I covered this. Interview the lead user, consult experts, patent search. Yeah, as I mentioned, if you are using the same methodology and the same application, you need to pay the royalty for that. Otherwise, you need to get the license from them. But sometimes patent validity is 20 years. Okay, probably the patent could have been expired. The solution what you are looking, it might be available in patent, but if the patent got expired, then definitely you are free to use that. You need not to really pay the license fee or the royalty for that patent. Okay. Yeah, literature, published literature, anyhow, we have mentioned. So many ways to nowadays, many online resources are available, many search engines are available, but only thing is you need to look for solutions. You need to spend time in understanding solutions externally. Many times we will spend more time in implementing the solution, but not really looking the alternatives. That's the big problem, big failure in the new product development. You need to spend sufficient time in looking the solutions external through external search. Yeah, here benchmarking, in the context of benchmarking means study of the existing products with the functionality similar to that product under development. Yeah, are the sub problems on which the team is focused. This is what we are trying to uh, use that as the search actually. Benchmarking is a study of the existing products with the functionality similar to that product under development. It reveals the existing concepts that have been implemented to solve a particular problem, as well as the information on the strengths and weakness of the competition. Yeah, that's also many times people use the tear down analysis. Tear down analysis in the sense they look for the similar kind of the products from the competitor and try to understand that functionality I try to see what all the different components they use to um, address the problem. And this is a kind of the tier down analysis they say in the industry. They take the product, they cut it, open that, and they will try to understand that. But here, what I'm trying to convey here is benchmarking. It helps in revealing the existing concepts and their strengths and weakness. That's very important actually. You need to understand the solution strength and weakness. So this is also very important step in generating the concepts. Yeah, this also we discussed. Search internally. Searching can be happened in externally and internally. Internally means within the organization or within your team. Probably if you are working on some problem, some project, and some problem, you need to consult with your team members and discuss that. There are different ways, scientific ways to discuss that. I will show in the next slide. So this also we should not neglect this internal search. Many times people might have the solutions internally. So you need to spend some time in internal search. Yeah, this is the some guidelines. When you are doing the searching the solutions, don't limit yourself for the small number of ideas, and don't discriminate. This is a good idea, bad idea, and all. While generating the concepts or ideas, every concept is equally good enough. You should not filter any idea in initial stage. That is the next stage. Idea screening or idea evaluation is the next stage. But when you are generating the ideas, don't use any filters. Don't use any filters. Whatever it comes to, whatever someone presents or the suggest, keep it idea, take it idea, and later you work on that, whether it's really feasible or whether it's beneficial than the other things. But during the concept generation, don't discriminate and try to generate as many ideas as possible. Yeah, and the third point, as we mentioned already, some probably looks infeasible at this moment, but it may be very useful for the down the line. But take that idea also. And sometimes, while presenting the idea, probably you can use the graphical or physical media. Information, we all know that showing some idea through some graphic, probably it's a rough sketch, a drawing, small drawing, that makes it more useful than telling 100 words. Okay. Yeah. Once you generate the ideas, then the fourth step is the exploring these systematically. There are some systematic ways people have come up. Basically, there are two methods we will show you. I will show you those two methods. One is the classification tree. Uh, we all know that classification. In our regular classes also we show that suppose um, you're looking for the some stories or the energy. Some point you are looking for some energy. Then immediately we look for the different alternatives for energy. That energy could be chemical, that can be pneumatic or hydraulic or electric or nuclear. So these are the if you are putting this way, it's more useful. Putting that some graph or the some schematic, it's always be useful. Here, one thing is it is showing you the various alternatives. Okay, this is a tool. It's basically what I am trying to say is classification tree, as the name says, a tree means it has the branches and all. Okay, so this is your root and these are kind of the branches and these are the kind of the leaves. So this is one of the methods we use for a systematic understanding of the solutions. Yeah, four important benefits here you can see here. Uh, Uses of such kind of the tools. is useful for getting the benefits mentioned here. We can less promising branches, we can take it out, pruning of the less promising branches, identification of the independent approaches. So you can see here, all these are independent. You are looking for the some storage or accept the energy, okay, and these are the independent, all these are independent energies. So this is very useful for finding the alternatives or independent solutions basically. Exposure of the inappropriate emphasis on the certain branches, that's we need to look over that, and the refinement of the problem decomposition for the particular branch. So these are the some of the benefits what we get out of using the such classification tree. It's basically nothing new here. Only thing is you are showing your alternatives in a kind of the graphical way. So this is an important tool in systematic understanding of the ideas. The other one is the combination table. Uh, this also, it's not the very new again. It provides a way to consider the combination of the solutions. Okay, sometimes probably uh, if you make the kind of the table, you may take something from here, something may come from here, something may come here. Combining these three, you can come up with the solution. Okay, so here, just for example, here he is showing the picture where he is converting the electrical energy to the translational energy, and accumulate energy and the apply transitional energy. Sometimes what you what you need to look is, suppose you are come up with the something here, you have selected some alternative, but probably you have some constraint to use that alternative. Then you need to look how to convert this into the other one, which is acceptable in my case. So there you need to look for this some combination of the different concepts. So this is the combination table we say. Okay, this is another important tool for the systematic understanding of the ideas. Yeah, probably we can just see this. So the classification tree and combination tables, these are the two important tools that many industries use for understanding or um, systematically analyzing the alternatives. Okay. Yeah, reflect the solutions as we mentioned. Um, Once you have come up with some solution, you need to present to the experts, and you need to present that solution, proposed solution to the other team members, and they get their feedback and see whether you can modify if there are constraints from the other team members or other teams. Then you need to modify that. You need to modify your concepts. So that's why probably during the concept generation, um, keep the all ideas. We don't know which idea is more suitable for that particular time. Okay, yeah. Once we understand the various steps involved in the concept generation, let's put some time in understanding different methods. There are so many methods people use in industry. Here I have just mentioned some of the things: scramper, brainstorming, mind mapping, synetics, storyboarding, role playing, attribute listing, visualization, and the visual prompts. These are the different methods, and many more basically. Probably we will understand one by one in consecutive slides. Probably we all know that brainstorming, you all know that. Brainstorming is you come with some problem and you invite the people from your team or maybe expert from the other teams, and you sit together and discuss about the problem and get the solution from the individuals. So that's called as the brainstorming basically. Sometimes what they do is they don't really brainstorm. they will select the some individual teams, and they give the problem to the individual teams, and they will restrict the communication between one team to other team. So each team will come up with their own ideas, and you will take those ideas and screen from your constraints. So that's the another way of looking the brainstorming in different way basically. And many other ways are mentioned here: mind mapping, synectics, storyboarding, role playing, attribute listing, and some visualization prompts and all. I will just, it's already 4 o'clock. I will stop here. But here, maybe in the next class, we will go through individual methods. We try to understand what these methods are. Okay, I will stop here, and let me know if you have any questions till now. Please let me know any questions you have till now. I'm not seeing any question. Okay. If there if there are no questions, I will stop here. We will continue our session. We will continue our topic in the next session. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Take care. See you in the next session.